Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to Sunday. Greetings to those of you I can see on Zoom, and those of you I can't see on Facebook, and those of you who are watching later on YouTube. Happy to be here with y'all. Today we're going to continue our walk through the Eightfold Path. And I will admit, for some selfish reasons, I've always wanted to do a deeper dive into the Eightfold Path. And so we are. And I also think it's a useful and valuable teaching. So I thought I would start with a passage that I just came across this week that I'd known about for a long time, but I just came across it from the Dharmapada, some of the earliest writings of Buddha. He said, if one knew oneself to be precious, one would guard oneself with care. The sage will watch over herself or himself in any part of the night. Don't give up your own welfare for the sake of others' welfare, however great. Clearly know your own welfare and be intent on the highest good. There's several reasons why I think that fits into what I'm going to be talking about today, because the second fold of the Eightfold Path is right intention. And the last line of that passage is to be intent on the highest good. So we will get into that shortly. But for now, let's meditate. I invite you to find a comfortable meditation posture. One in which you are alert and awake at the same time. Where you can just relax into your body. Without slouching. But your spine is in its natural curve. And if you imagine there's a small string right at the crown of your head, and it's pulling up a little bit, and tuck your chin in without straining the muscles in your neck and shoulders, that helps to straighten the top of your spine. It's an energy flow thing. And if your eyes are open, just lower your gaze so that you're looking down the bridge of your nose. And that relaxes the muscles around your eyes. And gently close your eyes. And let's just start with a few slow, deep breaths into the belly. Just about 3/4 slow, deep breaths, just to help get connected to the body, connected to the breath, connected to the moment. And letting your breathing return to normal. And just becoming aware of the touch points in the body. Aware of the sensations of your hands resting in your lap. If your palms are down, aware of the sensations of your palms. If your palms are up, aware of the sensation of the back of your hands touching your legs. Aware of the sensations of on your legs and the contact with your hands. Noticing the sensations of your bottom on the cushion or the chair or the floor. And as you breathe out, just relax and soften. Receiving the in-breath. And on the out-breath, to whatever degree you can, letting go of whatever tension or holding or stress you're noticing. Relaxing your shoulders. And breathe in, just letting your belly expand and be soft. As you breathe out, just settling into your body, settling into the experience of gravity, resting you in your seat. And let your attention come to your awareness of the sensations of the body breathing. In whatever way works for you.
You shut that direction on the fan, please. This one? Mm-hmm. No, the bathroom door. It smells. Oh, no.
Just breathing in and out. Some people focus on the sensations of the air moving in and out of your nose. Some people focus on the sensations of the chest or the belly expanding or contracting. Whatever works for you. Resting your focus and attention on the sensations of the body breathing. Not trying to do anything with the breath, just observing it. and being with it. When thoughts arise, that's okay. The mind does that, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's all right. But when you notice, just gently, firmly, gently come back to focusing on the sensations of the body breathing. Thoughts will come and go on their own as the mind functions that way. Just come back and start again. Thoughts arise. Sensations come and go. thoughts arise, and you may notice that you've been thinking, or wandering around in your thoughts for some period of time. That's okay. We don't always notice right away. But when you notice, just come back to focusing on your breathing. Not worrying about whether the mind is getting quiet or silent. It usually doesn't. Just bringing your breathing to the front of your attention. Letting everything else just sort of fade into the background. Again and again. And as we come to the end of this sitting, inviting you to notice just being in the present moment with nothing happening. Just the simplicity of breathing in and out in this moment. May it be the benefits of this practice, of this meditation, help you stay more centered and present as you walk through the day. And to meet the world with kindness and compassion. And to notice those moments when you might start to feel unsettled or reactive. And just take a deep breath and return to your body, which is always in the present moment. May it be that the benefits of this practice enable you to radiate kindness and compassion in your interactions with individual people out into your households, in your neighborhoods and towns. To all beings everywhere. And may the benefits of this practice enable you to just walk more peacefully and to carry that with you. May the benefits of this practice be of benefit to all beings everywhere. May all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings be at ease and at peace. Thank you for your practice. Those of you who've been coming to these sessions for a while may have noticed I got a different bell. Isn't that cool? It's a gift from somebody. A little portable meditation bell. So, as I said before, we're continuing our surf through the Eightfold Path. When Buddha awakened, he realized that what he needed to teach was the nature of suffering and the end of suffering. And he enumerated excuse me, the truths that life includes suffering, and there is a cause to suffering, and there is a solution to suffering, and the solution to suffering that he enumerated was the Eightfold Path. Those became known as the Four Noble Truths in the Eightfold Path, which is 12. There's 12 steps in Alcoholics Anonymous. There's 12 disciples. In Christianity, there were 12 initial students that the Buddha taught. The number 12 keeps coming up. There's the number of beads in a mala is a division of 12. The number of beads in the rosary is a division of 12. It's just all of these 12s keep showing up. I'm a little fixated on that this week and see, do a little research and see what the origin of that is. But anyway, Four Noble Truths in the Eightfold Path. And the Eightfold Path includes right understanding, right intention or right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. And last week, we covered right view, or right understanding, which is the understanding that life includes suffering and we can be okay with that reality, and that all things are impermanent, and that we suffer to a very large degree because we cling to things that are changing all the time. And the second one, what we're talking about today, is right thought or right intention. And right view and right intention together make up what is considered the wisdom component of the Eightfold Path. So, right thought. Everything we do starts with our thoughts or intentions. I've heard people say that it's all about, what you do, actions. Well, you wouldn't have done that if you hadn't thought of it first, whatever it is. And Buddha spoke to this in the Dharmapada, where he said, all that we are is a result of what we have thought. It is founded on our thoughts. It is made up of our thoughts. If a man speaks or acts with an evil thought, pain will follow him as the wheel follows the foot of an ox that draws the carriage. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. It is founded on our thoughts. It is made up of our thoughts. If a man or woman speaks or acts with a pure thought, happiness will follow, like the shadow that never leaves. So, thought and intention. In the Dharma, there are three kinds of right intention. The intention of renunciation, and I'll get to that in a second. I know the R word disturbs some people. The intention of goodwill, and the intention of harmlessness, or doing no harm. So, renunciation, and I get it. People go, yes, when I say that. Because people think that it means, giving up everything and moving to the Bhutan and taking up monk's robes. And there are monasteries in Bhutan that will ordain you for like 6 months in a year, or a year. And I actually thought of doing that at one point. And my teacher, Gil Fonsdale, I talked to him about that. He said, before you do that, why don't you try a 10-day retreat at Spirit Rock. See if you like it. That's how I started doing retreats. And then, that was in 2001, and I am still living here in Western society. But renunciation means giving up things that don't serve us. That's all it means. Giving up things that don't serve our peace of mind, that don't serve our serenity, that don't serve our growth. Things that don't serve us feeling good about ourselves. In the 12-step tradition, step 6 and 7 talk about exactly this. The 6th step is becoming entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character, and the 7th step is humbly ask God to remove our shortcomings. That's in the 12-step nomenclature. All spiritual traditions have some point at which we ask ourselves, who do we want to be when we show up? So renunciation is essentially giving up what doesn't work. I was a newspaper reporter for a really long time, and I really loved it at first, and then I hated it. It was not serving my intention to feel good about myself, about my life. I gave that up. Went back to school, got a license as a therapist. Somewhere during the course of 2020, that really stopped working for me. And I gave that up, and now I do this. I've talked pretty openly in these sessions about being an addict in recovery, giving up those behaviors that support my addiction. That's a form of renunciation. So at any point, we can look at our lives. One person suggests to me, make a list of what's working, make a list of what's not, adjust accordingly. That's all renunciation is. And the next part, the right intention, is goodwill. And one of the things you'll notice as I talk about these, or that I've noticed as I've been researching these are themes that show up again and again and again in the Dharma. Renunciation, goodwill, showed up in the paramis, they showed up in the Brahma Viharas, so they're essential to the teachings. Goodwill, translated as metta, loving kindness, cultivating goodwill. Starting with cultivating goodwill towards ourselves. Self-compassion, I think, is key. Because without being compassionate towards ourselves, it's harder to deliver that out into the world. And quite honestly, if all of this being hard on ourselves and self-loathing and beating ourselves up was ever going to help any of us, it would have helped a long time ago, and it hasn't. I don't know anybody who can tell me that beating myself up has aided me in feeling better about myself and my life. It just doesn't work that way. So I'm suggesting a different paradigm. And it's kind of a cultural thing. I'm always reminded of this story that when the Dalai Lama first came to America, he was doing a lecture series. And Sharon Salzberg, who's one of the founding teachers at the Insight Meditation Society, approached him and asked him why he never talked about self-esteem. And he didn't know what she was talking about. So she explained it to him. And it made him cry, because it had never occurred to him that people would feel badly about themselves. So this idea of meeting ourselves with something other than goodwill is a cultural thing. And I can go on at length about how that developed, but I'm not going to here. Okay. Suffice it to say, it's not something we're born with, it's something that we learn. So goodwill, as part of right intention, begins with goodwill directed towards ourselves. Loving kindness. Now, I get that this is a challenge. Dealing with difficult people from a point of view of goodwill is difficult. You know, people who have harmed us, political figures who we think of as harmful or dangerous, people that we just plain don't like. Okay, that's fine. We can have goodwill towards difficult people, and we don't have to invite them over for tea. We can just wish them well, and we can wish for them to be happy. And perhaps it's true that the way they are acting and what they are doing is just a reflection of their own inner unhappiness. The storm that's raging in them that they have not resolved is now the storm that they're delivering out into the world. And we can be compassionate for that. We don't have to support wrong action. It's just a matter of not wishing them ill, of not wishing them harm, which is a good bridge into the third element of right intention, which is harmlessness. Do no harm. Start with that as an intention. Now, in the Mahayana tradition, right intention includes serving others. We can do a whole other talk on that at some point. But just start with the intention of doing no harm. It's a compassion practice. And sometimes we have to summon compassion when we encounter somebody who is acting in a way that we can't support, that seems evil, that seems disreputable, not helpful. Can we generate compassion for the wound that has led that person to that? That's a pretty high standard, okay? And what it requires is that we be compassionate with ourselves in whatever state we reach with that. It's difficult. But let's just start with doing no harm and being compassionate towards ourselves. So I invite you to contemplate the parts of your life that you're willing to surrender and how to foster goodwill towards yourself and others, and what a life of harmlessness would look like for you. And I thank you for your kind attention. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Okay, I'd like to welcome the newcomers. T-E-V-L, Devel, is that how you pronounce your name? And Elias, welcome to here. Anybody? Okay.
Hey, Ken. Can I just tell you a quick story from this week?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this is what you were just talking about, get your take on this. I'm the team leader for a group of 16 people.
Good luck.
And we've been trying, we've been trying to pass new bylaws. And it seemed we had all finally agreed, and they want to do it by consensus voting, meaning every single person has to agree.
Yeah, okay. I've been involved with that
At the
sort of
last
thing.
minute, one person says, I vote nay. I say, why? Because I don't like the way we vote. I don't like the neutral voting. I said, okay. But he wouldn't propose an alternative solution. And then someone else proposed a solution, but then another person said, I don't like that solution. I'm going to vote nay now too. So I just felt my blood boiling at these 2 or 3 people who were suddenly obstructing the vote at the last minute, and when all the rest of the team was very on board with doing this, and it would be extremely helpful to our team, I felt. But I felt my ego, and I just got very, very angry. I'm like, I'm going to strangle them. And I felt I didn't like it, of course. Like you said, don't want. So, but I can't get out of my mind trying to think, how can I come to a solution? And that's all I can think about. Trying to work on the wheels in my brain, like how I can figure out a way to resolve these differences in a positive way so they can help the other, 13, 14 people on our team but I don't know if I should just let it go and not try to find a solution, or if I have a responsibility as a team leader to try and figure out a solution to this problem. I don't know what to do.
The first thing that comes to mind for me, my eye is a little funky today, so just kind of like bear with me. Some of you saw me wearing an eye patch in the session a few weeks ago. It's just the way it is.
No worries.
Stress is the energy it takes not to strangle that person who deserves it. Right? So,
yes, and I'm feeling the stress.
I went to grad school where it was all about consensus building, and we would have these community meetings. The first thing I would suggest is stay centered in your body. There's a lot of stress in the room, and there's a lot of ambient energy in the room. That's not your stress, that's not your energy. So continue to breathe. From a leadership point of view, I'm not sure it's the leader's job to get everybody together, but to facilitate the process. It's not your process. Your contribution to me, and look, this is worth what you're paying for it, by the way, To me, your contribution is to be the centered, calm presence in the room and help to move it along without absorbing and amplifying all the tension that goes along with it. Right? It's like you have one string that's vibrating, right? And then the other string next to it starts resonating, and da-da-da-da-da-da. You want to be the person who's resonating the calm piece.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's helpful or not. We can't do anything about other people. And in these sorts of organizations, we can't do anything about the one who swoops in at the last minute and says no to consensus. But we can remain calm and centered and practice, put your hand on your belly and just slowly breathe in and out. You can continue watching the scene. Nobody will know that you're doing that. But you're the calm and centered one in the room. And having faith in that eventually a solution will arise. Because eventually it will. I don't know if any of that's helpful. That's where I kind of go with.
Yeah. No, it is helpful. It is.
From a mindfulness point
I
of
think
view.
my next step is I'll send an email saying or just saying we weren't able to reach a consensus, but if those who have disagreements could find a mutually agreeable solution. I know many of your fellow team members, myself included, would be very grateful, and just leave it at that, basically. But yeah, that's the. I think at least that's a calm solution. Hopefully they can. Because I think you're right. There's only so much I can do myself. So.
Well, the more they escalate, the calmer you get.
That's a very hard thing to do.
It is a hard thing to do. Look, I was a newspaper reporter for 25 years, and somebody would come up to me like after a news conference or some event or on the phone, and like start screaming at me about something that they said that appeared in the paper. And my take on that was always, well, you probably shouldn't have said that. But if I met them, you got two people here, and this one escalates, right?
Yeah.
And then you meet them, which gives them the energy to do this. Right? And then it just becomes like this, right? But if you have two people here and one of them escalates and the other one stays down here, physiologically, your body will only let you be up here for so long without someone giving you the energy, so they'll always come back.
Yeah.
So
that's very good advice, because my alternative was to attack, like go into total attack mode, and I realized that would likely be counterproductive.
It's always tempted to deliver something that ends with, and the horse you rode in on. But it's never helpful to do that. And that's what mindfulness training helps us do, is recognize we're having that energy. It's okay that I'm having that energy. But I have this set of tools now, and I'm not going to deliver that into the room.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that, Ken.
Happy to show up for you. Anybody else? Okay. Great to see y'all this morning. And I will be here next week. These talks, by the way, are available on my YouTube channel. They're also available on Facebook. And be well, y'all.